This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
The Lebanese Hezbollah party announced that the explosion of a booby-trapped car yesterday in Damascus killed a top leader in the party, Imad Mughania. In a written statement, the party accused Israel of killing Mughania. Our correspondent reports that one of Mughnia's companions was also killed in the explosion. Hezbollah says that Mughnia's funeral will be held tomorrow in the Dahia district in southern Beirut. Joining me from southern Beirut is the bureau chief, Ghassan bin Jiddo. Ghassan, it clearly appears that movement in the Dahia is very normal.
نعم لينا ولكن أود أن أؤكد شيئا الآن مصدر قيادي عالي المستوى.
Yes, Lena, but I would like to confirm something right now. A senior leader here in Beirut confirmed to us that Imad Mughania was killed and no one was accompanying him. In other words, no one was killed along with Mughania. Thus, according to an official source from Hezbollah in Lebanon, Imad Mughania alone was killed. As I said, movement in the Dahia in southern Beirut remains normal and very calm. No doubt there is a feeling of anger and some amazement about the loss of Imad Mughania. Many residents of the Dahia in southern Beirut have never or rarely heard of this person named Imad Mughania. There are some who know him by the name of Haj Radwan. However, Imad Mughania is certainly considered a prominent leadership figure in the Hezbollah resistance. He was killed yesterday in this way. So now the question is, who killed Imad Mughania? Hezbollah did not hesitate to accuse Israel for being behind the assassination. We called some high-ranking officials of Hezbollah to ask them about this, considering that Israel, through Olmert's office, denied assassinating Imad Mughania. They said that this is an Israeli scheme because it knows very well that the killing of Imad Mughania will not pass by without a response. Even if U.S. security agencies or the CIA assassinated Imad Mughania, the CIA and Mossad are the same. They are two sides of the same coin. Now some people are calling for Hezbollah to respond quickly, and even outside of Lebanon. Among these voices are well-known people within Lebanon. Even the Muslim Scholars Association earlier put out a statement calling for Hezbollah to respond. As long as Imad Mughania was killed outside of Lebanon, then Hezbollah cannot remain silent and must respond quickly, even outside of Lebanon, in any place in the world, in order to hit Israeli interests and perhaps even other interests. This is the kind of things that are being said. What is also notable is that most of the ranking members of the resistance released statements condemning this, among them Dr. Salim al-Hus and Osam Saad, many people from the Islamic Association, the Ba'ath Party, the National Syrian Party, and a large number of people from among the opposition. However, we have not heard any statements from the ruling majority or the March 14th forces, or even from the Lebanese government. Perhaps we must wait and deliberate. We may hear some voices, we may hear some positions on this. However, until this moment, we have not heard such voices. As I said, we are in Dahia, in southern Beirut. Lena, if you can look with me now at this banner, it reads "Martyrdom is Life." This banner has been here for a long period of time. In other words, the sons of the Dahia in southern Beirut and this environment, where Hezbollah and the resistance move about in, say that they are used to the concept of martyrdom and assassinations. Thus, this situation is not new to them. However, the loss of Imad Mughania is considered a shock and a blow to Hezbollah because he was a senior leader in the resistance. Was Imad Mughania the actual commander of the July War? No, he was not the actual commander of the July War, but he was a top leader in the July War from among the ranks of the resistance leadership. However, he was not the main leader in the July War. In any case, we are waiting for the political landscape in Lebanon to be made clearer. A condolences area has been set up not far from here. Politicians have begun to arrive in order to offer condolences to Hezbollah. However, tomorrow is the main day in Lebanon. Here, in Dahia, southern Beirut, a funeral procession will be held for Imad Mughania. Tomorrow in central Beirut, there will be a commemoration for the late Rafiq al-Hariri. Tomorrow, February 14, 2008, is a big day here in Lebanon. Also, the residents of the south have raised black flags, and they also raised victory arcs. There is some movement and some peaceful demonstrations in areas in the south, rejecting and condemning the assassination of Imad Mughania. In his home village, Tayir al-Diba, a correspondent arrived there and reported that there are strong feelings of anger in his village. However, we have not heard them yet. But you may hear this after a while from my colleague Abbas Nasir, that everyone is saying, we lost Imad Mughania. But every one of us in Tayir al-Diba is Imad Mughnia. This is what the residents of the south are saying.
أهلا بكم إلى التفاصيل. نفى رئيس الوزراء الإسرائيلي إيهود أولمرت أي مسؤولية لإسرائيل في
The Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert denied allegations that his country had anything to do with the bombing attack in Damascus last night. The top military commander for Hezbollah, Imad Mughania, was killed in the blast. Hezbollah accused Israel of masterminding the attack, which came after Olmert issued a statement vowing to eliminate the leaders of Hamas and Hezbollah. Meanwhile, Hezbollah's Al-Manar television announced the death of its senior military leader and accused Israel of being behind the assassination. According to incoming reports from the Syrian capital, the bombing attack was executed by a remote-controlled device and targeted Mughania as he was leaving his place. One of Mughania's companions was also killed in the blast. In a statement, Hezbollah said a funeral procession for Mughania will be held tomorrow. Imad Mughania was an important member of the Hezbollah's intelligence and special task force. Before that, Mughania worked for the Iranian Revolutionary Guards in the late 1970s. He was accused by the U.S. authority of masterminding the bombing attack on the U.S. Marines barracks and hijacking civilian planes.
الحاج رضوان، اللقب الأكثر استعمالا عند مناداته من قبل رفاقه، الرفاق في حزب الله.
Haj Radwan is a name used to call Mughania by his comrades in Hezbollah. He was born on December 7, 1962 in the town of Tayir Diba in southern Lebanon. He worked as a bodyguard for the late Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat in the late 70s. In the aftermath of the departure of the Palestinians from Beirut in 1982, Mughania joined the Amal movement and later joined Hezbollah. He left to Iran when he was 20 years old and fought for nearly 40 days on the Iranian front against Iraq. He was nominated by an Iranian military leader to work for Hezbollah's intelligence and special task force. Mughania played a major role in the bombing attack on the U.S. Marines barracks and the headquarters of the French forces in Beirut. He was also accused of taking part in the Khubar bombing attack in Saudi Arabia in 1996. More than 19 U.S. military personnel were killed in the blast. Mughania underwent 2 plastic surgeries in Iran in an attempt to change the features of his face. He was wanted by the U.S. authorities in connection with the attack on the Marines barracks in Beirut. Imad Mughania has departed, burying with him many secrets. Walid Saliba, Al-Arabiya.
The death of Imad Mughania and the plan by Hezbollah to hold a funeral procession for him tomorrow, which coincided with the 3rd anniversary of the assassination of the former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafiq al-Hariri, may further exacerbate the political situation in the country. This news comes amidst the intensifying political showdown between the Lebanese ruling party and the opposition. Meanwhile, a security breach has been reported in various parts of the country, but was quickly contained by the Lebanese security forces. Eliane Chatrin reports from Beirut.
On the eve of the 3rd anniversary for the assassination of the former Lebanese Prime Minister, the security situation in Beirut and the mountain is witnessing deterioration. However, the Lebanese army responded quickly to the scene and contained the situation. This news comes as the showdown between the loyalists and the opposition continues to escalate. Amidst heightened security measures, the Lebanese are making preparations to mark the 3rd anniversary of the assassination of the former Lebanese Prime Minister, Rafiq al-Hariri. The Lebanese security forces were put on high alert, especially after a security breach unfolded in the country over the past few days.
Tomorrow we're taking to the streets, and we're not scared.
We want our country to be united. We want independence and sovereignty for the entire nation, not for certain groups.
We just want to live in peace. They should form a government and do something to benefit the people.
On the political front, the showdown between the Lebanese parties escalated after the head of the Socialist Progressive Party, Walid Jumblat, lashed out at Hezbollah. Jumblat said it's impossible for the Lebanese state to live in coexistence with the state of Hezbollah. In another political development, which came on the eve of al-Hariri's anniversary, the U.S. President George W. Bush sent a letter to Lebanese Prime Minister Fouad al-Sinora confirming that his administration supports the Lebanese government, the majority, the army, and the International Tribunal. Amidst this, the Secretary General for the Arab League, Amer Moussa, announced he will return to Beirut on February 24th to mobilize efforts aimed at ending the political stalemate in the country. Meanwhile, the Lebanese expressed fear that the security situation may turn to the worse due to the latest political escalation in the country.
In breaking news, the Lebanese Hezbollah party just confirmed that Imad Mughania was indeed killed in yesterday's bombing attack in Damascus.
A delegation of senior Russian industrial experts arrived in Iran to accelerate the finalization of the first unit of Bushehr nuclear power plant in the south. The Russian contractor Atomstroy expert said the visit of the Russian delegation aims at pushing forward with the efforts in completing the first unit of the power plant, and added the delegation will hold a meeting with the Iranian officials on Thursday. Russia had earlier delivered all the necessary fuel for the first unit of the plant to Iran. In an undiplomatic move, France has called on the International Atomic Energy Agency not to reflect realities on the ground over Iran's nuclear case. French Foreign Minister Bernard Kouchner told the New York Sun newspaper that he has asked the IAEA Director Mohammad El-Baradei to put political considerations ahead of technical issues when following up Iran's atomic dossier. In Tehran, Kouchner's interfering statements met reaction by Foreign Minister Manouchehr Mottaki, who expressed assurances that El-Baradei's upcoming report on Iran will be a realistic one in case the IAEA chief is not pressurized by certain Western countries. Mottaki went on to say the report will certainly point out that Tehran's atomic work is geared solely for civilian use. The general outlines of the proposed budget bill for the next year was approved today. President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad says the next year budget is transparent, acknowledging a structural change in compiling the national expenditure package. The chief executive made the remark as he attended the Wednesday session of the parliament to defend his budget bill for the next fiscal year, beginning March the 20th. Criticizing the previous method of drawing a budget bill as time-consuming both in compilation and implementation stages, President Ahmadinejad said unlike previous years, the government and parliament's attention would be concentrated on, quote, major categories to distribute the budget through proper and smooth mechanism. He went on to say the budget bill, which is the most important and precise document drafted by the government, is in line with the 20-year outlook. A senior Lebanese Hezbollah official was killed in a car bombing in Syria. Imad Mughania was killed after the bomb ripped through a residential neighborhood of the Syrian capital. Hezbollah movement in a statement accused the Zionist regime of Israel for the killing. In Iran, Foreign Ministry spokesman Mohammad Ali Hosseini strongly condemned the assassination, terming it as a blatant example of Israeli state terrorism. Hosseini underlined the legitimacy of Hezbollah and called for an international move to halt recurrence of such heinous crimes. And in occupied Palestine, officials said at least 66 Palestinians have been whisked away by Zionist forces in the West Bank. Palestinian witnesses said troops entered the town of Beit Omar early in the morning and imposed a curfew before carrying out the arrests. Iran's foreign ministry summoned Danish ambassador to Tehran to extend its strong protest against repetition and publication of insulting cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. Head of the foreign ministry's Central and Northern Europe affairs, Hassan Bagheri, said Soren Hosland was informed of Iran's serious concern over the blasphemous caricatures hurting the beliefs of over 1.5 billion Muslims around the world. Iranian researchers have identified a gene which is blamed for bladder cancer. Director of Iran's Cellular and Molecular Cultivation Research Laboratory, Abbas Basiri, says the carcinogen factor has been internationally registered with the name of the research lab. The top researcher added, thanks to Iran's breakthroughs made in the field of stem cells, prospects are bright to develop a bladder using the cutting-edge technology in the country within 4 to 5 years. And Iranian oil minister Ghulam Hossein Ozari says the country's oil revenues will reach $63 billion by the end of the Iranian year. He also noted that Iran's oil sales have reached $55 billion in the first 11 months of the year. Nozari went on to say that Iran's oil bourse is to start operation from next Sunday with rial as a base currency for all transactions. Nozari further said the oil ministry is to drill 10 oil wells to raise the volume of gas production by another 20 to 25 million cubic meter next year. On formation of a gas organization like OPEC, he said negotiations among the countries involved are still underway. As for the construction of peace pipeline between Iran, Pakistan and India, Iranian oil minister said China can join the project if it desires so. And French oil group Total says it will continue its activities in Iran despite U.S. pressures on the country over its nuclear program. Speaking at a press conference, Total chief executive Christophe de Margerie reiterated that the company has not burned its bridges with Iran and added Total will find solutions to maintain its long-term presence in the country. Iran and Total are to develop phases 9 to 12 of South Pars field, which has been agreed upon in 2002. Meanwhile, Financial Times Daily said the resistance of some European Union member states against U.S. pressures demanding cutting ties with Iranian banks have made U.S. efforts fruitless.
وفي سياق الآفاق المستقبلية لسوق النفط العراقية والغاز الطبيعي الذي تقدر احتياطاته بكميات.
European and Iraqi officials agreed to increasing economic cooperation by utilizing the huge oil and natural gas reserves in western Iraq. Political observers believe this is a first step to making Iraq a key provider of gas to Europe in an attempt to decrease the European dependency on Russian gas. European Commissioner for External Relations and European Neighborhood Policy, Benita Ferraro, said that 27 European countries are looking forward to making Iraq part of the Mashrek Arab Pipeline project, which extends to Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. The Associated Press said that this gigantic project, which is still under construction, includes the transportation of natural gas to Europe through pipelines in Syria and Turkey, enabling the Europeans to import gas from Iraq and Egypt.
حيث ستستطيع الأوروبيون الذين يودون الاستفادة من خدماته التزود بالغاز من العراق ومصر والدول الأخرى التي يمر بها الأنبوب.
وزير المالية ونائب رئيس لجنة الطاقة العراقي بيان جبر الزبيدي كشف أن العراق يسعى لخلق منافذ جديدة لتصدير نفطه الخام.
The finance minister Bayan al-Zubaydi said that Iraq is trying to open new venues to export oil from ports on the Mediterranean Sea, in addition to the ports on the Arabian Gulf. The objective is to spare Iraq economic losses should a conflict between the U.S. and Iran erupt due to Iran's persistence to acquire nuclear energy. During a press conference that was held in the Iraqi embassy in the Jordanian capital Amman, which was attended by Iraqi investors and businessmen, al-Zubaydi talked about plans to develop the Iraqi pipeline that goes through Syria. He also said that another pipeline will transport Iraqi oil through the Jordanian territories, including Aqaba, where an oil refinery will be built.
إلى العقبة التي من المؤمل بناء مصفاة لتكرير النفط العراقي الخام فيها.
إذا تحقق حلمنا إحنا بالعراق وحلم الإخوة الأردنيين ويعني ورغبتنا واستراتيجيتنا.
It's our dream and the dream of our Jordanian brothers. As the Iraqi finance minister, I think Iraq should not depend on exporting oil through the Arabian Gulf only, because this jeopardizes its financial and economic future. We must have several venues to export our oil. We must have an alternative. All of us expect a conflict between the US and Iran in the Arabian Gulf. Every reasonable man has thought about this. We must find an alternative. If we were to succeed in Iraq at a strategic level, we must build an oil pipeline through Jordan because that serves our interest. We must also develop the oil pipeline that used to transport oil through Syria.
وعلى سبيل تطوير الاقتصاد العراقي عالميا اتفق العراق مع الاتحاد الأوروبي على تطوير سبل الطاقة.
Iraqi and European Union officials agreed to increase economic cooperation, especially at the energy level. Iraq will become one of the most important gas exporters to the European Union, replacing Russia. After the European Commissioner for External Relations and European Neighborhood Policy, Benita Ferrero met with the Iraqi oil minister Hossein Shahristani in Brussels. She announced that the European Union supports the Mashriq Arab Pipeline project, which will link Egypt, Jordan, and Syria to Europe. The project will decrease European dependency on Russian gas, which comes through Germany and Poland. Al-Shahristani said that the time has come to strengthen relations between Europe and Iraq, especially pertaining to exporting energy. He added that Iraq is ready to fulfill all the European Union's gas and oil needs. Last week, Oil Minister Shahristani canceled an oil deal that was signed between the Kurdish region of Iraq and one of the largest Swedish oil companies. He warned that such an agreement does not allow for free competition, which may discourage international companies from investing in Iraq.
Joining us by phone, former oil minister Assam al-Shalabi to talk about Iraq's oil. Welcome.
Thank you.
We know that Iran has been pumping oil from Iraqi oil fields by drilling horizontally. This issue has been a source of conflict between Iran and Iraq for a long time. Do you think that Iran is taking advantage of the current situation by pumping oil from Iraqi fields as well as through oil smuggling?
It seems that Iran started to drill for oil in a number of Iraqi oil fields since the American occupation. Iran pumps oil from the joint oil field in Diyala province. The two countries were supposed to pump oil from it simultaneously, but Iraq was forced to stop since the occupation. Meanwhile, Iran continues pumping oil from this field, which means that it in effect has been siphoning oil from the Iraqi side. We do not know why the Iraqi oil installations have not been fixed yet, but it seems that they were deliberately sabotaged.
Since Iraq was occupied in 2003, more than 200 media professionals had been killed, including 80 journalists. The series of kidnappings and arrests continue.
The body of the Iraqi journalist Hisham Majjood was found in the Bab el-Sheikh area in central Iraq after having gone missing since last Sunday. With his death, the number of journalists killed in Iraq has increased to 80, including 46 in 2007. Since the occupation of Iraq in March 2003, the number of media professionals that had been killed is now 200. 3 days ago, 2 journalists, including one British, who were working for the US CBS network were kidnapped. It was later discovered that unknown men kidnapped them from the Qasr al-Sultan hotel in the city of Basra. The CBS network refused to reveal their identities. Media professionals are threatened with killings and kidnappings as well as arbitrary arrests at the hands of the U.S. occupation forces. This has compelled the organization Journalists Without Borders to request justifications from the U.S. authorities for stopping and arresting many journalists. One of these journalists has remained in Guantanamo prison since 2002.
Talking of top TV shows, Afghanistan's version of American Idol would have been unthinkable under the Taliban. Even now, critics say the talent show offends Afghan and Muslim traditions. But millions are switching on every week to see the contestants, which include women, aiming to be this year's Afghan star. Zaina Khoda reports.
Voices which have been silent for years are now being heard in Afghanistan. This 19-year-old is pursuing her dream. Lima wants to be the next Afghan star. She's rehearsing for the country's most popular talent contest, a version of the global hit American Idol.
I'm the first female Pashtun to take part. It requires strength to fight our culture. It was hard to convince my family, relatives, and tribe, but they are slowly accepting it.
They line up, hundreds of youngsters, brave the cold and snow to get the chance to watch the show live.
The show has had a lot of success. Millions of people across this war-ravaged country wait for the contest every week. But it has been criticized by some Muslim clerics who consider it un-Islamic and a threat to Afghan traditions.
But here the feeling is different. The show has captured the public's imagination.
I do know that some people are against it, some strict religious people are against it, but it is good for our young generation because we have lots of hidden talents.
The program's host tells these aspiring celebrities that Afghanistan's music industry is still in its infancy and that the artists don't have the opportunity to build a career. A lot has changed for Lima, who comes from the conservative province of Kandahar, but she hasn't broken her traditions. Her mother accompanies her wherever she goes, and she still wears her Islamic veil and typical Pashtun clothes. Lima is one of just 7 contestants left in the race. Since the program began 3 years ago, new talents have been discovered. Whoever wins will receive money as well as a record contract, a start for a better life. This is an Afghanistan that few in the world often see. Zaina Khoda, Al Jazeera, Kabul.
Saudis are banned from the color red on Valentine's Day.
If you're a Saudi citizen or residing in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, then you're banned from the color red on February 14th. A fatwa or Islamic religious decree has been issued banning Valentine's Day. And because the color red is linked to this holiday, anyone who purchases or sells red-colored products could be prosecuted.
I did not come to purchase flowers for Valentine's Day. I'm buying flowers for the house. Valentine's Day was brought to us, but we have the New Year's holiday and the Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha holidays.
We were ordered to remove the color red for a period of time before the holiday. Anything can be sold and bought except if it's red. Any violation could mean that the business will be closed down and we would have to pay a huge fine. For this reason, as you can see in our store, we began removing anything that is red. We will continue doing this until tomorrow night, and there will not be anything red in this store.
Business owners are being threatened to have their businesses closed down if they violate the fatwa. Citizens are being told not to celebrate this holiday, which the Saudi fatwa states leads to nudity, immodesty, and unchasteliness.
Get more news about the Middle East online at linktv.org/mosaic. The Mosaic webpage offers a complete archive of Mosaic programs, program transcripts, the Mosaic video podcast, and the Mosaic Intelligence Report, a weekly analysis of the hottest stories from the Middle East. The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible with the support of viewers like you. Thank you. This program was brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. television network devoted to global and national news, with uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.